Alright, working on the inside a little bit tonight. I've made some progress on getting the engine in the right spot and motor mounts. So what I've done is I have set up this piece of tape that runs from the center of this bolt on the strut tower to the center of this bolt on the strut tower. And then based on that, you can get a straight line to line up your engine with. And you can level the engine as well off of that. You can measure that, and I think I've got it pretty close to where I want it now. It's pretty close. I've got a very rough version of the mount welded up on this side. Well, not welded up. It's tacked in with flux core, so it's really ugly right now. But I'll take it all out and, cut this part off and round it and make it look nice. But this is all 1/4 inch, and it'll all be welded. This is the original Insight mount, which is filled with the polyurethane, the window weld polyurethane. That seems pretty good. On the passenger side, I've got a 94 to 01 Integra motor mount that I've cut. It did have a 3rd bolt here, but it was too wide, so I cut that off. So that'll have two 12mm bolts, which are bigger than the original 10mm bolts. So that'll bolt on. So this goes down in the typical spot where the Insight mount would go. This mount is actually 10mm narrower, so I'll have some washers to space it towards the front of the car. So there's that. And then this plate I built and welded up. So it goes like this actually. So there are 3 original holes, if we can see it. Original holes on the timing cover there that these 3 holes will bolt up to. So they'll kind of sit down in there like so and bolt up. So this has to go on and then get bolted on, and then you can set this mount in there after that. So that's coming along slowly but surely. This will, around the edges, and you kind of see how I've got it marked up with Sharpie. I'll make it look a little nicer. I'll probably also put I'm going to put a triangular gusset on the bottom here as well. And this is all 1/4 inch, so it'll probably hold fine. But I would rather the engine not fall out on a hard launch, so I'll overbuild it a little bit. So there's that stuff. This is the original Strut Bar, I guess you could call it. The original setup was it had a piece that came out like so. Piece that came out like so and went over to here, and then the battery was right here, but the K series is too big, so that's not going to fit. So I just cut it off and flipped it around. So this is actually the back side of, originally the back side of the brace, but it's aluminum, pretty lightweight. Should work fine. What else do I have going on here? You can see my fenders are lined up pretty poorly. I figured out what's going on there. Previous owner doesn't have this bolted in, so it's just kind of flopping there. But once it gets bolted down, it'll line up a lot better. Still working on getting the trim on the outside of the A-pillar fixed up here. So all of these clips were broken, and they just had a big glob of urethane or something on each one, and I think that's where the leak was coming from. So I'll put some sealant around this. I used my 3D printer to print some clips for it out of ASA. So this is a higher temperature plastic, sort of similar to ABS. But these things are like $7 or $8 a piece from Honda, and I needed, I don't know, 14 of them or something, plus this kind of weird one that didn't print the best. But you know, I printed those on my 3D printer, so that saved quite a bit of money. Let's see how dirty it is. I kind of cleaned this area here a little bit, and this is what it was like when I got it. So I think the paint will clean up pretty nice too, which will be good. I guess those are the main things that I made progress on. I can show also the motor mount, or the ball joint inserts I'm going to make. So this is the original. Here's the original ball joint from the 01 to 05 Civic knuckles that I am going to put on it. They'll work with the K-Series axles. So I've got both of these original ball joints. Here's the knuckle. So originally the way this is the Civic knuckle. This is the back of it, of course. Originally that was in there like so, and the ball joint pointed down, and this is the original control arm. So the ball joint went through like this, and the nut was on the bottom. Well, the Insight has a ball joint like this, where it's in the arm, not in the knuckle, so it points up. So my plan is I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut off the ball joint eye from the Civic 01 to 05 Civic control arm, and then I'm going to whittle that down with my angle grinder, and then I'm going to weld it in so the small end of the taper is on the top. And I'll press this in back into the knuckle, and then I'll have the ability to connect the Insight ball joint to the Civic knuckle. So you can buy adapters and stuff, and you can buy motor mounts, and you can buy axles, and you can buy all this stuff. But I'm trying to do this on a budget, so I'm building as much of it as I can. And so far, I think I'm making good progress. So that's just a quick update on where I am. Next time you see this, I hope I'll have the motor mount in on this side after it's all welded up and cleaned up and painted and stuff. I'll have this one in. I could show you the rear motor mount too. Do I have a light? In the back, I've got the, let's see if we can see what's going on back here. I've got the original Insight mount that's bolted to the body right here, and then this was the original Insight CVT bracket for the rear motor mount, and this was bolted right to the CVT transmission. As you can see, that's not going to line up. So I haven't decided if I'm going to use this bracket and just make an adapter between these. There's a hole here, a hole here. There's a whole bunch of holes I can pick up on the back. Just looking at this, I think I might use these two holes and bolt it up to here, and we'll see how that goes. I haven't totally decided what that's going to look like, but making progress.